Hey guys, it's me, James, and if you watched any of my previous videos, you'll notice I'm in a different place. And that's because I finally moved from Florida to New Jersey with my family, my mom, and just my mom, actually. And it was not the smoothest of transitions. The house in Florida, the closing got delayed a couple times, and I do mean a couple times. And the rental we had, where I'm at right now, uh, there was we weren't allowed to move in until the closing up in Florida or down in Florida happened. So I actually went a couple weeks without internet and a bed. The internet was worse though. So my list for this month is going to be a little bit interesting. I don't know. There's a dog barking outside. I don't know if the mic is picking it up. By the way, this is my hand recording microphone. This is my first time really using it. Hopefully the audio is okay. But no matter what, the audio from this is better than the audio from the camera. Because the camera microphone is overblown as hell. So it feels like it's been a while since I've done one of these videos. And not only that, my list is a bit weird for the month. But if you've never watched one of these before, pretty much at the end of each month I do this vlog where I talk about the games I've played, the books I've read, and the movies or TV shows that I've watched. And I kind of give my opinion on them. And I, kind of recommend stuff to other people as well if you want, if you're into that. And yeah, I guess we'll just get into it and see what happens. How do we start these things? I'm going to say video games. I think we start with video games. I should have watched one of my old videos before doing this. Even I don't watch my vlogs. Okay, so like I said earlier, I didn't have any internet. And I didn't really have a TV. I kind of did. I had a tiny little, like, 19-inch television. And I kept my PlayStation 4 on me. So I did get to play Persona 5. I'm gonna have to get used to saying that. I played a bit of Persona 5. I'm still liking it. I'm having fun. I don't remember what my hours is in, but I want to say dungeon wise, hold on. I think I'm on my fourth dungeon? Fourth or fifth? Let's say I'm on my fourth dungeon. So I'm not really that far into it, I don't think. But I'm enjoying it. The story's fun. There's a few things here and there. And I'm still not sure if... I really like the changes they made. I really like most of the characters, but some of the characters fall flat. But overall, Persona 5 is really enjoyable, and I don't really have more to add to that. So let's get into the games I more fully played, which were all mobile games. So I just remembered because most of these things are mobile games, and I'm kind of still setting things up like my computer and recording devices and stuff. I will not have video game footage with these games. I played a game called Devil's Advocate. No, not Devil's Advocate. Hold on. Devil's Attorney. Devil's Advocate is a completely different thing. No, I played Devil's Attorney. It's a mobile game. It's a game I played a long time ago. I think it came out back in 2012. So I was actually kind of surprised it was on my phone. And I played it like twice before. So this was my third time playing through it. Devil's Attorney is kind of this like turn-based combat game set in like a courtroom where you play... I forget the main character's name. I want to say it's Max McMahon. because that sounds like one of the stupid jokes it would make. And well, your job is to get your clients who are accused of doing horrible crimes, and you have to get them, the verdict not guilty. And how you do this is there'll be like evidence and witnesses on one side, and then you and your abilities on the other side. So you'll have skills or attacks called stuff like cross-examine, or that's the only one I can remember. Cross-examine, examine, or analysis for evidence, and you use those skills to use on the evidence or the witnesses on the other side. And really, it's just attack and damaging the witnesses or evidence until it runs out of health points. It's very simple. I wouldn't say, there's a lot of brain thought to it. There's a little extra thing where if you can beat the court case in a certain amount of turns, you'll get a bonus of money, and use the money to buy furniture and stuff that gives you more skills. That's how you level up, by buying things for your apartment. It has a bunch of voice acting, and it's actually pretty good. It was something I was able to play through again from in like a day. Not necessarily one sitting, but just laying in bed playing it, I got through it. And yeah, I don't know if it's coming from me playing it for the third time or what have you, but the jokes didn't hit me as hard, and I guess maybe I remembered more of the story than I thought I did. But overall, like the voice acting's fine, the story's fine, some of the jokes are funny, and I remember when I first played it, it made me laugh a couple times. Third time, not so much. But it's a good game, and I was really happy to have it on my phone to entertain me for that one day. So the second game I played was 80 Days. It's another mobile game, but I believe it's also on Steam. It's a game where you are a valet or a butler. I don't know if there's a difference between those two things. For a gentleman, your master, who has made a bet with some people that he can travel the world in 80 days. So he takes you, his most trusted employee, and a handful of cash, and you go around the world. At first you get out of London to Paris, I believe, and then you can choose how you do the rest of the journey. So you travel from like major cities. The game takes place in a Victorian era kind of setting, but it also has a steampunk kind of things. So not only do you travel by train and boats and cars, but you also travel by airships, and you'll see weird things like machines and robots and a mechanical camel. That was weird. And as you travel from place to place, because this is a very story adventure type of game, you'll have story come up. So if you travel from London to Paris, let's just say, for example, it might pop up and be like, hey, there's this other passenger here, and they're quite eccentric, and they're telling you the story of how their great-grandfather did something, I don't know. And you'll have, choices like ignore them, introduce them to your master, tell them a story, and, based on your decisions, things will happen. And they're more more interesting than just, the example I just put out there, but I don't really want to give out too much. And be fair, my memory's not that great. I do remember enjoying it. Some of them made me laugh, some of them made me think. So yeah, 80 Days is very enjoyable. I quite enjoy the story. It was enjoyable to read. And I don't know, there was just something that I really enjoyed. It felt very tense at the end because I traveled from like Washington D.C. to New York because everyone's telling me if you want to get to London fast, you go to New York, you take an airship to New York to London. I get there, the ticket for the airship is $5,000 or pounds. So I had to take out some money from the bank, which that takes time because it's supposed to be a Victorian era kind of thing and no internet exists. So I'm just sitting there for it takes like a week and we're near the end. We're like 60 something days. So it takes a week to get the money to get on to pay the tickets for the airship, and the airship takes time. And I forgot to check to see how long it'll take. So I'm just watching the days tick on 75, 76, 77. And on the 79th day, we land in London and the game goes into its ending story where you make some decisions. But there was nothing more tense than going, did I do math wrong? Did I? Oh, I forgot to check how long this trip is. Oh no, are we going to miss the deadline? And making it there on the 79th day, nothing felt better than that. So at some point, I went to go visit a friend and he let me use his internet, graciously let me use his internet. And I was able to download some, podcasts and stuff, but I also downloaded another game called Potion Explosion. It's based off a board game of the same name, and it's very interesting. I really wish I can get a video up to show you, to more explain how this works, but there are about 5 columns of marbles, and there's 4 different colors of marbles, and they're all randomly presented. And when it's your turn, you get to choose a marble. And then when the stack comes down, let's just say there was just from the marbles I'm selecting, there's a red marble, a yellow marble, and another red marble. If I take that yellow marble, and those 2 red marbles will collide. So then you're allowed to take those 2 red marbles. And then if any more collides, you can take more marbles. So you have to try to make the best decision to get the most marbles. Now you want these marbles because you have potions and the marbles are ingredients. So a potion might say, I need 2 reds and 3 yellows. And then you would put them there. And when you've complete a potion, it will give you points, and there's more point systems. It's a competitive puzzle game, and it's fun. And not only that, because it was a competitive puzzle game, it was something I was able to just keep replaying and replaying. It wasn't something like 80 Days or Devil's Attorney, where after you beat the story, you can play again, but you just beat the story. With this, you just keep going, and it was something I really needed. It was a good time waster, just sit down and play a game or play 2 games or 3 games in a row. And it's fun, and I really want to get the board game that it's based off of, but I don't know if I'll have friends to play it with. But it's such a... There's nothing... It's just... I'm trying to form it in my head. I apologize. There's just such a good feel to when you take a marble and then it just keeps colliding and colliding until that column runs out of marbles and you're just sitting there with 15 marbles going, yeah, I don't even need these marbles. I just needed these 3, but it feels good to have all of these marbles. I do not have a marble fetish. Okay, let's get into books. If you watched any of my last vlogs, you'll notice I didn't read any books. Well, let me show you. Yeah. I mean, I only read like 12 pages of it. But, yeah. So I kind of found out that I can't read a book while driving in a car. And for whatever reason, the time without internet and stuff, I just, I guess I didn't think about reading. It wasn't something that crossed my mind. It didn't help because all our furniture in the house was gone, so there was no really comfortable way to read. Maybe that was the reason. Or maybe I'm just making an excuse because I'm an uneducated, illiterate moron who doesn't read. I'm going to change that. Though this is actually a book I've already read, John Dies at the End, by David Wong. This cover is based off of the movie, which I think is on Netflix. If you have a chance to either read or watch the movie, I would say read because it's more interesting. But the movie does capture most of the essence of John Dies at the End. It's a comedy horror book. It's very weird. That's probably the most I can say. It's been a while since I've read it. The reason I'm rereading it, though, is because for Christmas I asked my sister to get me the sequel to this book, which is This Book is Full of Spiders, and the other book that David Wong wrote, which David Wong is a pen name, which I am forgetting what his third book is called. It's Futuristic Fancy Suits or something to that effect. So yeah, my plan was to read, this one, the next one, and the third one. And I still plan to read all three books, but this might actually get shelved as I have another book I kind of want to read. We'll talk about that later. But yeah, as someone who has already read John Dies at the End, it's a fun read. It's funny. There was many times when I was laughing out loud while reading this book, and it's creepy too. It's such an interesting book. I really wish I was a bit more. I wish I could remember more and be a little bit more articulate in how much I enjoyed this book. But maybe the second time through, I'll be able to explain more easily. Or maybe not. I actually have a bad time explaining why I like certain books. But yeah. Okay, so let's go to the things I've watched. So because I had my PlayStation 4 and a little tiny TV, me and my mom, we went to Best Buy and picked up some movies. She got La La Land, which I actually do want to watch. I just didn't watch it yet. But the movie I picked out for myself was Moana. I'm hoping I'm pronouncing that right. It's the Disney film that deals with a young woman, Hawaiian? No. There's a bit of me that's afraid to be offensive, so I don't know if these are the correct terms, but whatever. Live and learn, I guess. But it's about Hawaiian mythology and stuff. There's a young girl named Moana who is the daughter of the chief of this village, and she is going to become the chief of the village. But for whatever reason, the ocean calls out to her, and it goes from there. It's a Disney movie about discovering oneself, and I'm sure there's another lesson in there. I actually really want to rewatch this movie, but from the first time watching it, what I took from it was discovering oneself and kind of following following your own path rather than the path that's laid out to you by someone else. And yeah, because it's a Disney film, it has a bunch of musical songs. I'm trying to remember them. They're good. The problem is some of the songs are kind of sang out in a different language, which is not a bad thing, first of all. But because of that, there's a bit of disassociation, I guess, that I can't really remember those. But they were so cool sounding as well. I wish I remember more. There's a song, the one of the main characters, Maui. I think that's the character's name. The big guy with the hook. Um, you'll see him on the poster if you have no idea what I'm talking about right now. And I think I liked his song the best. It was all about how people should be thankful for him and how he's a big deal and a hero to the humans because he's like a demigod. Uh, Probably my only thing like negative I have to say about Moana is um there's a I feel like there's a scene missing in the middle of the movie. Like it kind of goes from at first it feels pretty smooth, like it's going at a good clip, and then at some point like there's a big scene, everyone's angry at each other, and then it's the next scene and everyone's not angry at each other and it's the end of the film. I feel like there's like another scene that needed to be there, something that had to do with Maui or and also like the beginning felt a tad bit too long. There's a whole build up to um, Moana becoming like the chief in training of the village, and it just went on a tad too long in my opinion, especially when I feel like there's a scene missing in the middle there. But yeah, Moana was a fantastic film. I actually really do want to rewatch it and maybe take it in a little bit more. Now that I have my TV set up, I can now watch it on big screen, so maybe that'll be more exciting. There's one other thing I watched. As you can imagine, getting internet back, there was a bunch of things I had to catch up on, like a giant bomb, YouTubers like fuck, YouTubers like NerdCube and Emma Blackery. Uh, but the thing I made sure, the first thing I watched when I got internet set up was it's the fourth season of Taskmaster. It's a British panel television show, and yes, I'm American. So the way I have to watch this is there's a subreddit where people kind of share links to YouTube links to these shows so Americans can enjoy them. And Taskmaster is probably it's one of the funniest panel shows, and it's very unique and clever. It's pretty much what they do is they get 5 contestants, but they're all comedians from the UK, of course, and they go through like a week, and they do a bunch of different tasks, stuff like hide a pineapple on your person, and then one of the co-hosts of the show, Alex Horn, has to guess where you hid the pineapple on your person. So the contestants are like chopping up the pineapple, finding places to shove it, like in their shoes. Some of them ate the pineapple pockets, and it's ridiculous and it's hilarious, and it's very interesting watching how certain people think, especially comedians. I don't know what it's about comedians, but they have some strange logic sometimes. And it's a fantastic show. If I encourage anyone to go look at it. If you're in the UK, you can go watch it on Dave, I think. I don't know how your TV works. Just figure that out. If you're outside the UK, like myself, and want to go looking for it, I'll probably put a link to like the subreddit that I go to. It's a fantastic show. If you can start with this season, what I would say is go check out the Wikipedia article and like check the seasons because it'll list all the comedians. So if you see a name you recognize, I would say go with that season instead because that way you have someone to root for. And if you don't recognize any of the names but don't want to start with season 4, season 1's okay, but watch the first episode of season 2. I think that one's really good. And the reason that one's really good is, I forgot to say this, at the start of each episode, the contestants have to bring in something that they're gambling with. So one of the things might be like, bring in the category for the thing you have to bring in might be something like, bring in your most important document. And so the contestants have to bring in their important documents. And that one's really interesting because I don't want to ruin that one, actually. Well, 2 of them brought in, like, world record breaking certificates. And, fuck it, I'll just say it. One of the more eccentric contestants, Joe Wilkerson, brings in his wedding certificate. And just, it was the funniest fucking thing in the world. And whoever wins that episode will get all those important documents. So it's actually kind of interesting. I feel like the 4th season I'm watching right now, they haven't done that interesting of a prize category yet, but hopefully that'll change. And there's a task that they do in all the seasons that I'm waiting for, where they give the contestants like a couple dollars and tell them to buy the host of the show, Greg Davies, a gift. And they can decide to use all that money, some of that money, or add their own money to buy a bigger gift. So, that task is usually the most fun. Because it's the most they're trying to suck up to the host of the show. It's such a good show. It's so funny. All right, so that was everything I've played, the book I read 12 pages of, and the movie and television show that I've been watching. As for what's going to happen next month, there's a few things I want to play. I want to finish Persona 5. There's a game coming out tomorrow, I think, from this recording. On May 30th, I should say. I'm blanking on the name, but it's a sci-fi game. I was watching a YouTuber called Quill18. He did a video on it. It's like The Long Journey Home or something to that effect. That looks really interesting. I might pick that up. Books-wise, well, I do want to read John Dies at the End. I actually, when I moved down here, my sister got me some gifts that I asked for my birthday. So she finally gave me those. And one of them is a game called Monster of the Week. It's a tabletop RPG. So I'm probably going to read through that first before I start going down John Dies at the End and its sequel. And I also got a copy of Fate Core, but I'm going to use that as a reference document because from playing Persona 5, I actually got kind of really into the idea of not making, an RPG, a tabletop RPG for Persona games, but I wanted to make an outline of how I would run a Persona game in Fate. So I'm probably going to sit down, write that out, and use the fake core book to figure that out. If you're interested in that, let me know. I don't think I'll ever have the chance to run it just because I no longer live near my friends and they have their own lives. But if someone says, hey, that sounds interesting, that'll give me more encouragement to focus on that. Right now, it's this idea in my head, and I'm hoping I can get it out of my head. But sometimes, you know, focus doesn't, that focus doesn't happen, For television shows and movies, I was talking to my sister. I now live near my sister, so that's weird. And she mentioned watching Stranger Things, so maybe that'll happen. I don't know. And there's just a bunch of shit I should be watching. I want to watch Mystery Science Theater 3000, the remake of it. I remember people saying good things about it when it first came out. I haven't heard anything since, so maybe that's not a good thing. But I'm trying to think if there's any other shows I want to watch. I really, after going like a few weeks without internet, I haven't really checked Hulu or Netflix and see what's what. But I'm sure there's a bunch of things I want to watch. I actually saw that the next season of Sherlock is on Netflix. So that's probably something I will watch, as it's like 3 episodes. So, yeah. So yeah, that was it. That's everything I'm looking to do next month of June? Yes, it's May, June. So I don't know how to end one of these. It's been a while. I mean, thank you for watching. If you like this. No, I'm not. I actually do think I need to start doing the whole, if you like this, give it a like. If you really like me, hit subscribe and leave a comment. And, like, I do want those things to happen, but I would rather have them happen naturally than me begging for it. And, I don't know. But I should probably start doing something to that effect. But, we'll leave that for next month. I'll figure it out then, I guess. So yeah, I'm just gonna walk away.